Hey everyone, Ivy Lee Gaming here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. And for today, I'm joined by Ray of the Dragon Slayer community. Welcome, Ray. Thanks for joining me for the first time.
Hey Ivy, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're one of the OGs. You've been playing for a while, right? So I needed your expertise on something.
Absolutely. I'm here to help in any way I can.
So how long have you been playing? What's your deal? Tell the people that don't know you.
Um, so right now, normally I play on the Forerunner server. Right now, I think I'm sitting at around 436 days played on Forerunner. Granted, I did take a month and a half to start leveling up my global account. So I do also run a global account, not nearly as strong as my Forerunner account, but it's getting up there. Like it's just time I got to put back into it. But I did go back to my Forerunner account. I've been putting a lot of focus into that with some of the new heroes coming out. So been putting a lot of my time management has been going to Forerunners lately. So
All right, cool. And then you're part of the Dragon Slayer community, and you said you're working on your website improvements. You have some changes to come.
yeah, so currently we do have a website, but it's a little lackluster right now, I would say. But there's been some development over the last 6 months, I would say, that we've put a lot of work and effort and energy into getting it up to date, and we're currently updating content and hero strategies and whatnot. But it's still about 2.5 to 3 months away, I would say, from being
Okay.
fully developed and released. So, but it is coming.
All right, good. Yeah. The more resources, the better. We know
Yeah,
we had a few. We
absolutely.
had yours. We had Mabucket, but Mabucket's not really playing. Let's be honest. So the more, the
Yeah,
better. We need some updated resources.
yeah, for sure. Well, we have lots of people giving a lot of input, so should be up to speed here soon enough.
All right, cool. Well, I'll link that either way and your channels as well in the description. So if you guys aren't already following Ray or the Dragon Slayer community in general, make sure you do. You've been a busy man though, so your main you have your own personal channel, but that's kind of on hold right now, or a little slow going.
Yeah, I used to play a couple other games. I've since deleted a lot of the videos, so just trying to clean
Oh,
it up. And when I'm ready, I do have some content ready to go. It's just not going to be released until I have time to really manage it all. So
fair enough. Yeah, consistency is key. So if you post like once here and there, it's not going to get the same traction if you start actually posting daily or something.
for
Yeah,
sure, yeah,
smart.
exactly.
All right, so the topic of today. I finally got a legendary hero soulstone. This is one of those coveted items of the
Congratulations.
game. Exactly. It's rare, right? It's special. And it took me until like a week or two ago to finally get it since playing from Goa launch. So it's my first one and they don't come easy. So I kind of wanted to
No,
talk
it's pretty
with you
exciting,
about
eh?
that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exciting, but then I feel like I don't know what to do. And I've literally within the past I think 2 weeks, I've probably had 4 or 5 people ask me the same thing that are in the same boat
Mhm.
as me. I have an Awakened One Twin Fiend. What else should I use it on? And I'm like, I don't know. So that's why you're here. But these special soul stones, what's the deal? It's guild boss? Is that really it?
That is it. That is it. Outside of obviously using the dwarf shop to buy the continuous
Specific
rotation of
ones.
useless
Yeah.
Legos, yes. Other than Salazar, he's the only good one, but he's super rare going in there. So for some reason,
Yeah. So they have said they're going to improve the Awakening shop. Maybe that'll happen
mhm.
eventually. Who knows? But yeah, I'm kind of at that
I would
point. So when it
love
comes
it.
to these, save these for the Soulstones number one advice, right? Because it's so rare
Yeah.
to get them just in general.
hmm Yeah. I mean, as far as dust goes, I've been pretty fortunate where however you want to look at it, I've dusted a lot of legendaries. So
Yeah.
I mean right now I've brought this up to the dev team multiple times over the last year about how to spend some of this, even the epic dust. I mean, epic dust gets out of control really fast as you progress in the game, but the legendary eventually doesn't quite catch up, but you still kind of get out of hand with it as well. I usually spend, 50 to 100 legendary dust every weekend on reset, and I still have 14,000. So
Ugh. Ugh,
it's absolutely
it's
ridiculous.
crazy.
And yeah, the epic is even worse. I mean, I'm sitting at just over 300,000 epic dust. So,
If I have
um,
11,000 from my limited time playing, I was like, I'm guessing a lot of you guys have a hell of a lot more.
yeah, and I'm sure there's people even on global that have lots too to go with their summons and the lackluster summons or A5ing continuously. And right. So it does build up really quick and you don't really have much to spend it on. So when you get these are kind of like the holy grail, I guess you could say, of Soulstones. So but yeah, so I did put a list of 10 heroes together that I felt where you don't have, some are end game, some are really end game, but some are very accessible. And just kind of where I would put it if I needed to progress, let's say in guild boss, if I just needed to hit that 50k, or if I was doing gear raid 1, or even 3, could work, but or even
Okay.
GVG. So I just threw a list together of my top 10, um, in no particular order, but
Okay.
the first one is definitely top tier, we'll say.
So the obvious was always the A1 twin feed. Is that still the case? Is that still like a number one go to, or has that changed since new heroes have come out?
So I would still say A1 Twin Fiend would be at the top of my list if I didn't already have him.
Right.
He's obviously going to help you with Guild Boss. He helps in GVG, he helps in, even Arena. Some metas work, but a lot of content. He's like your go-to Lord hero, right? Even if you're not
Yeah.
placing him, just his skill bonus alone is it can bring a team to actually beating a stage or a level with relative ease. So he's still probably the top of my list. Again, if you
Okay.
needed to progress in something, for sure.
And then, just so people are, if anyone else is not aware of this conversation, the Pyros Twin Fiend pretty much is still the case where if you have Twin Fiend not awakened, you're going to use Pyros in your guild boss team instead for sake of that vulnerability, for sake of that, and
Yeah,
still.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus he's a little easier to get reined in on A3, A5
It's
even.
true.
So
Easy. All right. Well, yeah. If we already have that A1 Twin Fiend, what else? What is worthy in your eyes? Because like I have Araka, but on my head I was like, I don't know if she seems cool for it, maybe, and she is really pushing. I'm using her everywhere now that I got her. But then I know there's
yeah.
people like Sulcadens. There's Elder I really want and seems amazing. There's so many new lords and
Mhm.
stuff coming out that make me wonder if I should always hold one for them. So who are those special people?
Well, I'm just gonna go right off the top of my list.
Okay.
So I'll start off with probably the most end game hero right now. A lot of people won't have this hero, but if you do, totally worth at least getting A1 is the big boy himself, Kratos.
Oh
Um,
gosh,
he,
yeah.
yeah, you probably seen the video that Fasty did on my Forerunner account, and he
Somebody
absolutely
sent me
enough.
that video a couple days before that, and I was
Yeah,
like, "Did you see what Braidus can do?" He's like, "Yep, I got a video on it."
yeah. So I actually kudos to Fasty. I appreciate everything that guy does. He's super awesome content
Yep,
creator. So
he
shout out to you,
is.
buddy. But I've since gone back and kind of tweaked his meta a little bit, just with some gear. And in the video, we get it down to like 44% on GR221. I ended up getting him down to 23% on first hit. So still a 2 hit meta team, but yeah, it's actually
So this damage is just busted. It's a must get if you can.
100% totally worth.
Okay.
I'm gonna say every penny because it's me, but definitely worth Soulstones as well.
All right. So do you think it's so good that like is someone like me who has that extra soul stone, should I always
Mhm.
save one just in case I get him because it's that good, or are some of your other considerations worth doing as well?
So, my opinion, I would personally hang on to it And my only reason is he's such a rare hero.
That if you
Um,
do,
the chances, yeah, there's a chance that you might pull him, but that also being said, I'm going to contradict exactly what I just said too, because um, even with my Forerunner server, I've only ever pulled 5 Soulstones, I believe, from Guild Boss, and we're
Ugh,
talking in almost 2 years. So some
yeah,
people are luckier than others. I'm sure there's other people out there that are had the luck and probably should have bought a lottery ticket, but yeah, I've gotten 5 in almost 2 years. So
that's
just to
rough.
give everyone an idea of how limited they are.
All right, well, let's continue the list then for those that are not patient enough to hold on to it forever, that might have someone else who's worthy. Who else might be worthy?
For sure. So second on my list, and again, this list is in no particular order. I put Silas. So if you're like me, where even on your Forerunner server, you only have an E3 Silas, um, chances of you pulling Silas are pretty high. But his A1, A3, or A5 are all value. Excuse me. So, I would recommend any one of those awakenings. I wouldn't do it if it was only going to bring me to an A2 or an A4.
Yeah,
But
the in
if you're at
between.
that point where, yeah, it's not worth the in betweens. But if you're going to finish off and get to the A3 or A5 or even the A1, definitely a value.
Okay. I'm someone who is transitioning with finally getting Araka to be him even having more value now. So Guild Boss
Mhm.
potentially could look a little different for me. But I tried playing around with it. It wasn't quite there. But those awakenings is that really a big push for something like doing that end game Guild Boss Piercer comp?
For sure. Yeah, you're going to get
Yeah.
a little extra damage out of them. And Araka, even in Guild Boss, you're only placing with the Invigoration set
Yeah,
just
that's
to
true.
put the
Just like I
Invigoration
did
bonus. So
Torador. Yeah, same idea. Okay.
100%.
Okay. All right.
Um, Number 3, I love this hero. I'm so happy he's in the game, but is Cyrus. Um,
Oh.
Cyrus is A1 or A3. I only have him at
Yeah.
A3 right now, but he is
He seems
guy's
awesome.
an absolute monster. He's a monster. It's great. You can put down multiple skeletons, and yeah, totally worth an A1, A3, or if you're fortunate enough to get an A5 for sure.
Yeah, he sounds so great because he's a solid defender, but then the skeleton or the skeletons make him a solid defender, but you can actually build him with damage, right? So he can be more like
Yeah, he's very much a hybrid style hero if you want him
yeah.
to be, but he can also be your a perfect tank as well.
Okay. He seemed really cool. I definitely was hopeful for him. I've been holding out with a lot of my ancients because like this time I didn't pull because I'm like, what am I gonna do? Get an A2 Twin Fiend? Um,
Hmm. Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I did.
What
Like
could
I
have been
feel like
worth it?
which
Maybe
could
you could have got an A3.
exactly. That's the hard part, though. All right. So wait, let's go to that conversation. Twin Fiend. He has to be on your list,
Mhm.
right? In
Uh,
general,
so
or
I
no?
didn't put Twin Fiend on my list because he's the most
The obvious,
kind of
or
sought after, obvious hero,
yeah.
and I figured I would give a list of 10 that some people might already have a lucky
Okay.
account and get A3 or whatever, but if you're not and you're just chasing that A1, could be a lot of potential to use a soulstone on.
So with Twin Fiend, if you like, yeah, you have one, maybe you got a two. Are his other awakenings worth pushing over other characters, or not really? How are his other awakenings?
uh they're they're worth it if you don't really need any other heroes.
Yeah, but it
I
might.
was lucky enough to just keep pulling Twin Fiend, so I never had to use a soulstone on him.
Oh,
Mind you, I have spent a lot of money. There's no hiding behind anything. People that know me well. But yeah, it's definitely not. I wouldn't put them past A1 if
okay.
you're chasing damage on somebody else.
Okay, that's fair. He kind of does his job with the A1, and then you should move on and take advantage of it from someone else.
For sure. Yeah. Over time you'll eventually get another twin fiend or two or four or whatever you need. But definitely I wouldn't waste another soul stone for sure.
Okay, good to know. All right, who else though?
So number four, I have the the woman of the hour, Zilthu. That's kind of another given, again in no particular order, but her
Really?
A1, A3, yeah, she is a guild boss monster. Um, so if you're chasing that 50K, yeah, her awakenings
Yeah.
are amazing.
I remember someone, and maybe it was obviously bad information, saying don't they were disappointed for getting her awakened one. And I was surprised by
Well,
that statement, or what do you think?
yeah, well, it's going to be a fully awakened Zilthu that's going to give you the best damage,
Uh
obviously. Um,
yeah.
but this hero is so diverse in all aspects of the game that she's worth every awaken, like, to me anyway. Again, this is my list. Some people
Yeah.
might think indifferent to this, but she's so diverse, and she's, even with all the new heroes coming out, she's still so viable to use anywhere in the game.
Okay. So yeah, pushing her just to get her maxed is worth it in general. All right. Kind of like Silas,
Absolutely,
you said. Yeah,
absolutely.
they're kind of in the same boat
Yeah,
there. Okay.
yeah. Well, Silas's A5 is just crack.
Yeah,
So,
he's so good.
he's.
All right, who else do you
um.
think deserves this
So I
list?
have Elowin's A1. So I know that we just had an
Oh,
Elowin banner on global, but if you didn't get an opportunity to get her A1, she's
yeah.
totally worth an A1. Again, she would be another hero. She'd be another hero where it'd be hard to chase an A5 with Soulstones, but if you're pulling her and you got her to A4 and you just needed that last one, the extra healing from the Wood Elf is sometimes it comes in pretty clutch for
It
certain
does. I
certain
love it.
areas
It's
of the
like having
game.
an extra healer in general, so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's smart. I like it. Yeah, I love Elowen.
Hmm.
I use her everywhere except for Guild Boss because of Hollow, just having a little more range there, but that's about it.
Yeah, for sure. So number six is probably my favorite hero in the entire game is Ardea.
Ugh. I know. I want her. She's been one of my most wanted in the game for ever since the second I saw her, honestly. They
Yeah,
nailed the
actually,
graphics and everything too.
she's amazing.
And she.
I had her and I didn't. I never used her because
Oh.
when I first got her, I had Magda, and I know Magda's not out on global yet, but Magda was so broken and nobody had her that I could use her, and I I did a lot of stuff with her as far as content goes. But then I'm just going to give another shout out to Lewis because he followed up my Codex team with an Ardea, and that's when I started building her after seeing what he did in the Conqueror Codex
Yeah,
on the
she's in
Forerunner
every
server.
top team. It's pretty clear she's a
Yeah,
beast.
yeah, she's definitely in my top team too.
And she's more rare to
Um,
pull, so I would think that the Soulstone has a little more value for her than like a Silas or Elowen that can be pulled a little more. I feel like Silas is pulled
for
pretty often
sure.
actually, but like you're not just gonna get a bunch of Ardeas easily.
No, this would be my probably if I had to pick between her and Praetus. I, I would have a tough choice to make
Okay.
because I just think that she is so cracked out. I was fortunate; I already had one copy of her, and I forget about a month ago or so we had an Ardea event on Forerunner,
Yeah.
and I ended up doing a
Oh, I
double
pull.
pull on 10 pull of Ardea. So I got
I
two
got
copies
some
of
for
her
my
on
viewers,
the
but
10
not
pull. It was awesome.
myself. I want one. I did like a one pull,
Yeah,
one
so
Ardea for my viewer. I'm like, can I have her?
that's beautiful. Actually,
Oh.
this weekend on Global, I did a one pull, one twin fiend pull. So it
Oh,
worked out pretty good. Yeah,
nice.
I was pretty happy. Um, but yeah, when you get a double Ardea on a 10 pull, yeah, you can't. I have a hard time
That's
beating that.
crazy.
Yeah,
Jealous for
I
sure.
was pretty happy.
I love it. All right, I'm glad she made the
um,
list. I almost forgot about like considering her in this conversation, but yes, logical.
yeah, for sure. So my next one is probably going to be obvious to some people, but it's Hex's A1 or A3. I'm still not a fan of Hex's A5. I know that they did a little
They,
bit of tweaking, but
but
it's
yeah.
still it's not there. I mean, it's usable now, but it's not where it could have been. Is I guess what I
Okay.
want to get at.
Especially for people that use him as part of their core guild boss team. I mean, these
For
awakenings
sure.
are
Yeah,
solid, but it's
he's
still. Is it like it used to be where it actually used to give you less damage, or is now at least it doesn't hurt your
so
damage right now, or does it?
um
The
it
A5.
it's not where it was, in my opinion, it's not where it was. I used to do, give or take, on my old Guild Boss team, I used to do about 130 to 150 million damage. Now, when before it got fixed, I was A5 and I went and dropped about 30 to 40 million. And now I'm back up about 20 to 25 million. So they did fix some of it, but it's still not where
It
it
still should be
should
a
be.
big improvement, not like you're kind of doing the same, or what's the
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah, yeah. For an A5 and chasing after an A5, you would think that
It
the
should,
A5
yeah.
would be like the ultimate increase, but for me, for this hero, it was still a disappointment.
Now, what about the recent change on Forerunner's server with his A3 that came out along with his exclusive artifact? Is that just to keep the artifact in check,
I
honestly, or
I think so. I don't have his artifact, but I would assume that that's what they're chasing after, is just to kind
okay.
of tone him back a little bit. But
The A3 nerf I don't think affects most things unless okay.
yeah,
That's what I was
no,
hoping. It
no,
wasn't gonna like kill people's guild boss damage without the
no,
artifact. Okay.
no. It
Good,
didn't
good.
break the hero or anything. No.
Good.
Um. So yeah, so Hex is an obvious choice.
Yeah.
Um, so then I'm gonna go to the next obvious choice, I think, now with the new release, but Boreas would be number 8.
Ugh.
This guy is just cracked out as well.
And his Awakened One is so solid with all the freezes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you pair him up with Mary. Actually, I'm testing him out, and people are probably going to have a lot of comments on this, but I'm testing him out with Shamir just for the slow and
No,
see
that's
what kind of damage
good.
I can get out of him.
I
Um,
did a video with
so
a content creator. We showcased how to use Shamir properly. A lot of people just couldn't get
mhm.
past the speed and the gear, but that's the point. It's super end game thing. That's literally the point. And then people are trying to use them
Yeah,
in
like
AoE situations, and it's a hot mess. And I'm like, oh god, no, that's not the point. You guys missed the
you
point. Congrats.
if you build Shamir properly, like
He's
honestly, people are going to
crazy.
probably be hating on him, but if you
No,
pair him
it's
with Mary and then you build him properly, he like my Shamir in faction trials does like 200k damage per tick. It's ridiculous.
and the way he stalls the enemy is really unique if you can get the crazy speed on him. It's pretty cool,
Exactly.
honestly. It really is. Like it's
Yeah,
not I don't think it's not a early game, mid game progression thing. It's a super end game trying to push the hardest content in the game kind of
that's right.
thing. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. When you get to faction trial 12, Shamir is like an
Exactly.
absolute staple in the meta.
I love it. I'm appreciating it now. I'm trying not to be that person that's just bandwagon hating everybody that everyone else hates. You know, it's like just figuring out how to use them, and that's just over time.
Ivy, I don't know if you remember, but I made a comment on one of your summons videos about Calypso being pulled so much. And I
Oh
think I
yeah,
said something about like A5 Calypso is actually unbelievable in endgame or something. But I'm glad that that has now come to
and now
light
is
because a
more a
lot of
thing.
people
Yes, it's
slept on
true.
it. Yeah.
We were always so annoyed by Calypso. I think because she's just so meh with like her base levels. Just doesn't feel like it's enough unless it's a fight that can ramp up.
For
And
sure.
there's just so many
Yeah.
marksmen in the game. All right, well, back to Boreas here. So that Awaken one we know is very
Yeah.
strong. Have you had it? Have you played with him Awaken 5? Do you know his full potential?
I haven't. I only have him at A1.
Okay.
I wasn't lucky enough to pull him on our banner.
Yeah,
I
I
only got
haven't.
2 copies of him, so I'm pretty sure my account is cursed now. Like I don't pull anything awesome anymore. It's
Uh,
yeah. I'm like just a a walking bankroll now. It's all good though. Whatever. I have enough heroes to play
I
with.
definitely rage pulled all weekend till the last moment I could, trying to get one Boreas, and then I have 0. So if I
Oh,
had him, I
I'm
probably
sorry.
would have already put my Soulstone in him, not gonna lie. But
He
I
would
don't
definitely
even
be
have
worth it.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
What about, I have to ask, I don't know if they're on your list, but it's one I keep hoping you're gonna say. But maybe not. What about Elder? He's been one of my most recent,
So
highly interested in characters as well. What do you think of Elder and his awakenings?
I like Elder. I do have him at A3 on my
Oh,
Forerunner server. Um, but I really like him. He shields and takes damage, so he's easy to like sustain. Um, Not gonna say whose it is, but he's definitely very, very viable in Guild Wars. Um,
yeah.
and I think people that are sleeping on him probably shouldn't. He does
Is he
very well
worthy
in
of
Guild
soul
Wars.
stones, you think? If is he that much of
I
a
would
game
say so.
changer, or
I think like I don't use them in a lot of content. I do use them in on my Forerunner Guild GBG, but aside from that, I I just have so many heroes that it's hard to keep going daily with stuff. So I just kind of I haven't really changed up too many metas, is I guess what I'm getting at. So I need to play more with heroes and just kind of this will be more when I can have time to make actual content. I'll probably be doing more stuff like that, but for the time being, I just use them in GBG and I swap gear around just to suit that for the resets, right? So
but yeah, he seems really solid if you want to push that northerner faction. Like, he seemed amazing. And uniqueness with like Falsia and Ardea and the more damage side of things.
he works well in faction trials as well. He
Yeah.
works really well in faction trials, actually. He's easy to keep alive. So if that's any hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. All right. What else? Who's else on your list? I don't even know what number we're on.
So we're on number 9. Number 9 is probably my second favorite hero in the game, and that's Arrogance. So
Oh,
Arrogance is A1, A3, or even A5 if you can get him to that. Totally acceptable for a Soulstone.
I just got
Anyone.
an arrogance not too long ago, but if I feel I keep sleeping on him, he's just sitting there waiting for me, and I wanted him so bad for so long, and then I finally got him, and I've just not built him because I'm just like busy. I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna use him right now. It's fine, you can just wait. But maybe I shouldn't be
So
sleeping on him. He's so good.
so he's actually on par with damage on my Guild Boss team with Zilthu. Like I can get him. I don't do the swap out meta with Laurel. I just run my um, Nightmare and Infernal team, and he does 163 million on
That's
Guild Boss.
crazy. Yeah.
And my Zilthu's only like 180 to 200 in that range, so he's not very far behind her. And I think if I even changed up some gear, I could probably level those two out, going neck and neck. So, but he's so viable everywhere. Like you can use him in
Yeah,
Guild
he's
Wars. You
literally
can
like
use
the
him.
jack of all trades. Like, he's actually good,
Yeah,
not just like okay in all the places. He seems amazing in all the
yeah,
places.
yeah. And if you can get him in like really high static gear, he's
Okay.
he's acceptable everywhere.
So I remember when he first came out, some of the early testing, it seemed like people were saying he was great in Guild Boss, but he gets outshined by most unless he has awakenings. Is that true? Like, the awakenings really set him off, like, for Guild Boss?
Yeah, yeah, for sure they do.
Okay.
He's definitely shines at A5, but even as A3, like you're gonna see a big
Okay.
jump in damage even from his A3, right? Um, but his A5 is where he really shines.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but he's so viable, like hitting air
Everywhere.
units, ground units, everything, right? And
Yeah.
his rage regen is pretty quick, so definitely
Oh,
worth it.
all right, cool. Yeah, I gotta build mine. I feel so. I
Definitely,
wanted him for
definitely
so
build him.
long, and I'm just like waiting to, like, what am I waiting for? I don't know. I keep getting other new shiny heroes like Araka here. How about this Lord? Where did
That's
does
the
she
problem. It's hard. It's so
is she on your list or no?
Araka's Araka's great in lots of content, but I wouldn't chase her with a soul
Okay.
stone. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
She can be used in proper gear just at A0. Her A1 is good. Don't get me
But
wrong,
it's not
but
like a game changer like some of the others feel.
it's
Yeah.
it could be if you didn't have anyone else. Let's just say
Yeah.
that.
Okay, that's good to
But
know.
she's a great lord. She's awesome, awesome lord
Yeah.
skill.
She's a
So
game changer, but
totally,
don't use the soulstone. Okay.
yeah. I wouldn't
Yeah.
personally. I wouldn't. So number 10 on my list is now. I just wish that they would do another event with this guy because even
Oh
I
no.
am limited with these. This guy is Captain Reef. You already knew. Look at that.
In a second, yeah, people really want. You see, like for our new friend Mortar Mike, he's so lovely. I love him. He's a great personality. He made a,
Mike's awesome.
like
Yeah.
bring Reef back. Like, but it is a little
I
soon for
man,
the
I'm
global,
jumping on
right?
that
Like,
bandwagon. Moonton, if you're watching this, bring Captain Reef back,
I
please,
would
for the love
spend
of
to make
God.
that happen too, because I was one of those people that wanted arrogance more. So I went all in
Yeah.
on the arrogance and Razak banner and never got an arrogance. And never got a Captain Rev because I went all in on those banners all weekend long, and I by the time I decided to start pulling a little bit on whatever I had left, and I gave up on arrogance, I didn't have enough to guarantee
Yeah.
a Captain Rev, and now I regret
Yeah. I kind of did the same thing. I'm not going to lie. My first event with
it.
Captain Reef, um, I did get one copy of them, but it took me right to pity, and yeah, it was pathetic, really, how much I spent to try and get him. But even on the second event, I didn't spend anything. I just had a bunch of stuff built up, and I didn't get another copy of them. So I'm kind of sad face right now that I don't have them at A5 where I'd like to have them. But if they ever came out, yeah, I'd be going for broke on him. I'm not gonna lie.
So
That's
do
a
you
lot of
think
summons.
is it worth it just to throw a one on him if you have one Soul Stone, or not really? Only if you're pushing
Oh
further.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so it depends on which direction you want to go in the game. He can be really good for a lot of content. Any like really any content
Mhm.
outside of GR3, you can use Reven. But the new codex, like the Conqueror Codex, he
Oh yeah.
is staple, staple, and
Okay.
I can guarantee you at A5, his damage would be increased substantially. But for me, where I'm at in this game, using it on Reeve, yes, 100%. Um, he's still viable at A0. So it's up to the user, I guess, or whoever's gets the soul stone and actually has a Reeve at A0, depending on where your count is. I wouldn't say if you needed an A1 Twin Fiend, I would definitely not put it on Reeve over Twin
Right.
Fiend if you're still chasing that 50k blood on Guild Boss. But if you're not and you're looking for a good tank that can be kind of hybrid, yeah, absolutely, I would. But he's so rare that, I mean, why not? Really?
Yeah, I don't have him. I don't have a bunch of the people you mentioned, but I do have some of them. So it definitely makes me
Hmm.
think now. So, like, yeah, I was lucky enough to get Twin Fiend and get a second Twin Fiend very soon after. So I am set
Hmm.
there. But yeah, I have that Hex with no awakenings. I have an A2 Silas, not an A3 Silas. I have a no awakenings on Zilla too. I definitely have some considerations. I am using them in Guild
You
Boss.
I am not going to recommend any of those because you could use it on any one of them. So I don't want to be the bearer of the news to tell you where to put it.
Or hold one in case I do pull a Praetus or what about
Yeah,
Solkadens?
that
Isn't Solkadens like super busted or Solkadens isn't he like or not as much as
um
or not at
I
least
think
awakening
so
wise?
when they first released Sulcanins, I was super excited obviously because I
Yeah, he
had every
seemed
other hero and now there's a
crazy.
new Infernal and he is definitely a guild boss hero. he's usable in some content. I definitely wouldn't take him over a Twin Fiend for most of my
Really?
content.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, I wouldn't. Not at. Okay, so let me rephrase this. I have him at A1.
Right. And
I
then Twin
don't
Fiend,
know
but
what he's
comparing
like at
both of
an
them.
A5.
Okay.
Yeah, but I got Twin Fiend at A5, right? So it's hard for me to compare the two. But for me, I've done Soul Cadence on my guild boss. He basically soaks up the damage away from my Zill through even arrogance. Like he kind of steals the show,
Okay. Yeah,
and
that's what I've seen
reduces
is big
the
damage
damage
from
from everyone
him.
else.
Yeah. But what about if you're someone that pulled him but doesn't have a Twin Fiend
Mhm.
and needs that for your guild boss? Do you think it's worth it, or stick to Pyrus until
Um,
you get Twin Fiend?
See that
It's hard.
I'm hard up on this because only because if let's say you had Soul Cadence and you used it on him at an A1, but your Zilthu is getting damage stolen
Oh,
from
that's
her
true. It actually
by
doesn't. It
Soul
maybe just
Cadence,
evens itself out. It doesn't really
you don't
progress
get
you.
much. Yeah,
Okay.
you're not getting much of enough
Interesting.
of an improvement, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Setrum would be on my list. I didn't
I
mention
love
him.
Setrum. Yeah, his
Um,
A1 is so good.
Setrum's yeah, God mode, God mode.
Yeah. I'm looking for that
um,
Awaken 3. I got an Awaken 2 the last event. I'm like, I'm getting there, working on him.
so one thing that I'm trying to figure out. So I didn't pull this weekend on my Forerunner account. Um, I thought I was going to go all in on Voldaren, and I didn't. So spoiler alert: Ray does not have Voldaren.
Oh yeah, you look
Um,
crazy.
he is reading through his kit. He looks like an absolute monster. From what I'm seeing in Forerunner chat and even on our Discord, like a couple of people in our guild have him, and he's absolutely broken. But I've been seeing such mixed reviews that I'm kind of glad that I held back this weekend. I usually, for whatever reason, like I don't know. Again, I don't know if something's up with my account, but every time I go to pull on a banner, it seems like the next weekend I pull that hero. Like even an eye. I tried to pull
That's
an
what
eye
I'm
because I thought that
scared to
she would
like
be.
use my Soulstone for the same reason, right? You're like, if I put it on someone like Silas or Hex, I'm just gonna pull one and be
Yeah,
like, gosh darn it.
it's a gamble, right? We're playing the lottery with this game for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I held off on him, but at the same time, I'm kind of heartbroken that I didn't get him. I like being one of the first people to test out heroes and whatnot, but oh well, what do you do?
And we have some events coming this weekend that could change people's opinion on where to use those soul stones too. I guess, I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
Hex, of course, everyone wants that Hex that doesn't have one. Um,
I don't have a hex on my global account, so
oh, so you're
I
gonna
will
be
be trying
pulling.
for hex. Yeah,
I
I
was
will be
debating
trying
if I
for hex
should, but
this weekend.
even even with he seems pretty meh, right?
Um,
He
so I
doesn't.
have A3 on my Forerunner. I he collects dust. I thought he was going to be of
I
value,
was
but
debating if
for
I
me, he's
should
not.
pull or not because I already have Hex, but considering our conversation, at least getting Hex to Awaken 3 is worth the extra pulls.
I think so. I
Okay.
would definitely recommend
Yeah.
A3X.
So, with that in mind, knowing he's coming, I'm definitely not going to use my Soulstone on Hex. I'm going to hope I pull some.
Hmm.
But then I have
No,
the
for
debate
sure,
here
for
of
sure.
Saturday too, pulling out a generic. I like the generic ones because everyone's more equal chances to get them, right? And I feel like
I
that could be a
actually haven't
game
even logged
changer.
in. I haven't
They
even
added
logged
it.
into my global account, so I didn't
Yeah,
even notice that.
they finally added the Hex one. It was just the 2 times. Everyone's like, "Where's the Hex event that
Hmm.
everyone's talking about?" But they did add for
Yeah, yeah,
Saturday a generic ancient summoning event, which I definitely think I'm gonna pull for because there's so many I still want. And I feel like sometimes the 10 times are just distractions from the good ones. Like, I already had Twin Fiend, so I didn't
Freitas
need
would be
that.
worth it.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll hold out my Soulstone for a little longer and decide. Or maybe I will be that person
Hmm.
that's like, I always have that one backup Soulstone, if I ever get another one, but whatever. That's for, Praetus or for someone like that. Just, I think it might be
For
worth
sure.
it. I think I'd be that. Like, if I didn't have Twin Fiend, I would have held it for him, but I had him. So
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I'll take the consideration and the excitement of maybe hold that one soulstone that I have on my account for Praetus or Ardea.
I
That a
Yeah,
good yeah, you think
definitely.
it's
If I had to pick any heroes, it would definitely go on Praetus
versus just
or
progressing
Ardea.
someone I'm already using, hold it in the hopes of I kind of think
Again, it's the lottery,
yeah,
right? So
it is.
it's
It could never
yeah,
happen.
like
I could never get one.
I
I
think
think
it's
that
very smart of you to hold on at least a weekend and see what
yeah,
happens. Especially with, a hex banner and an ancient banner at the
it's
same time.
true.
So the potential
Yeah.
of getting multiple
Some
heroes
game changers.
is there, right? Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I think if I don't get one of those key exciting people that cuz like that is Ardea is one of my most wanted. And I think it's worth holding on to something that's so rare for something that is a
Hmm.
most wanted or something that is that busted like Praetus. Unless you start getting multiple, then you're like, okay, this one is saved for that special thing. But once you start getting
Yeah,
more, hopefully start actually using them. I think that's my plan. Good plan?
that's a
Yeah,
good,
okay.
smart
Oh.
move. Very smart move. I wish I had did that. I didn't do that.
I can't. Yeah, so you've played for so long, only got 5 total? That's crazy.
Yeah. And in all fairness, two of those were on global.
Oh. So that was 2 separate
Yeah,
accounts.
yeah, five on
Uh,
two different accounts.
ouch.
So I've been pretty fortunate, I would say.
On global, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a couple people post that they've gotten a couple on global now. But honestly, like I'm just gonna say it out loud. I actually think drop rates are better on global than they are Forerunner, and I'm not the
Yeah.
first person to say this. People have been talking about it within our guild chat and in just like gameplay chat on the Forerunner server about this, but no names to mention, but just things that I've been seeing in different chats and whatnot. So it's not just me saying it. It seems like it's an
Yeah.
actual thing. So
Okay.
unfortunately,
I do think it's got to be hard for the game because just introducing these too much would feel a little busted and maybe a little too generous, or putting them in the shop to buy would be way too crack and it would piss off the community. I think a
um,
little too. Do you
so
think, or
so
what do you think this
I've
should?
brought
What?
this up to I've brought this up to the devs multiple times about how we can use our Lego coins after we're dusting so many. Where can we use it?
Yeah,
Because obviously, I don't need a A5 Shamir on either account.
yeah,
I would love it if they increase the awaken rate, or sorry, the awaken shop rate of Salazar, because he's really the only one that I need out of there. And I just brought up the fact that we used to be able to buy the Epic Soulstone, and now
oh
I think they
yeah,
got rid of that one as well.
yeah.
Or it's very random, or maybe it's in there
Okay,
from time to time. I can't remember.
I haven't
But
seen
I
it.
asked them, like you have an Epic Soulstone in here. Why not just put a Lego Soulstone? What are the odds of most people, even if you put it in there once a month? You know what I mean? So like make it
Yeah, that would
very
be
limited
fair,
once
and
a month. Um,
more expensive even if it has to be. It's fair.
yeah, like I wouldn't even care if it was like 2,000 Lego coins. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Just once a month. Because I mean, the reality is most people wouldn't be able to afford it anyway,
right.
unless you're like a full on Kraken, so or a very high end whale.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that is a good spot. But they can't just start throwing them around like everywhere because
No,
they are a little bit too special.
yeah, well, it would take the fun out of the game,
Yeah.
really. Like I know for even for me, even now, every time I see a gold chest pop up on Killboss at first of the
Yep.
morning, I'm like,
The
come
first thing
on,
we're
let's
hoping
go.
for.
You know,
Oh
I
man.
think we all have the same reaction. It's like, oh, here
Yeah.
comes the gold, and then full of disappointment. Um, yeah, so
Alrighty. I think that was a good conversation though. I think you made it I feel a little bit better knowing that, you know what, like maybe it is okay to use these on some of the key normal heroes. It doesn't have to be a lore. Like there like
For
maybe
sure.
yeah, don't stress too much on that idea of only someone extremely rare. If it's someone that can change your account and progress you dramatically, it's worth it.
Yeah, like it, I mean, obviously the lords are where you would like to put
Yeah.
them,
Or
but
the
the odds of you
chaos and
getting,
arbiter, yeah.
and that was going to be the next thing I was going to say was
Yeah.
like anything from an ancient summon, chances are it's going to be limited
It's
pulls
the
anyway
best.
for most people.
Yeah.
So if you can progress on those heroes that are much rarer, it's definitely worth it.
Okay. Alrighty, I
Yeah.
think we better wrap up this conversation here. It was a good one. I really appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to
Yeah,
add? Did
no
I miss
problem.
anything?
No, I think we hit just about everything and some, I think.
Yeah, it was a long one, but hey, it's good. It's good. People have been
It's
asking
all
me for
good.
this kind of conversation for a while now, so hopefully, yeah, hopefully people feel a little bit better about their decisions. And hopefully the
Yeah. Hope it
Krakens
all
can
helps
actually enjoy progressing some of their heroes too. I feel like that's like you said, it's like
for sure.
they should allow a little bit of something else for the people that have tons and tons of coins. Like, hopefully, this is soon. Something else here soon. We need something.
I think financially, there's a few of us that actually help support the game completely. So
Yeah.
it would be nice that that would be the give back is, make it accessible, but limit it is all we're
Okay. I
asking.
like that. I like that.
Yeah,
All right,
for sure.
guys. Well, I will link all of your channels there, Ray. I'll link them in the description. If you guys aren't following
Perfect.
him in Dragon Slayer community, go ahead and do it. So hopefully soon enough we'll see your actual personal channel growing too once you get some time.
I hope so. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but it's in the plans.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you again for joining
Perfect.
me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a blast.
All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video.